This video will show you how to transfer your short story to a Book Creator online book. The first step is to log on to the Spencerport intranet page, scroll down, and then click on the Book Creator icon. If this is your first time using Book Creator, you'll get this message that's going to prompt you to join a library. This should be the code that your teacher provides to you. Now, if you've used Book Creator before, it may already take you back to the library that you were previously in. So we want to make sure that all of the short stories end up in the same library. So if you get this screen, you'll go up to the top, select the button on the top left-hand side, choose Join Library, and enter the code that your teacher gave to you. This way, all of the short stories will be in the same location. We're now ready to create our book. You can create a book by clicking the New Book button on the top right-hand side of the screen and choosing the shape of your book. The first page is going to be your cover. This is my short story. It's called Jacob the Great. So I'm going to take my title and create a cover. To do that, you'll see the plus button on the top right-hand side of the screen. This is where you can access text or media to design your cover. I'm going to add text and type the title of my short story. From here, if I right-click on the text box, it will give me options to format my text. So I'm going to change the font. And I'm going to change the size as well. I can also change the color, again, by right-clicking, clicking Format, and then just changing the color. There's a few other things that I can do for my cover. I might not want my cover just to be this bright white color. So if I click on the cover, and then click I for information, it will now allow me to change the color of the background. So rather than it being a bright white, I'm going to choose kind of a lightish blue color, like that. But I'm not done, because I just don't want my cover just to have the text of the title on there. I'd like to have an image. And this is where it's going to take a little bit of thought to figure out what you want to be on your cover, what image. So when you think again of my story, Jacob the Great, at the end, he talks about going to space camp. So I'm thinking space camp, something like astronauts or rocket ships. So I'll need to upload a photo. And you can do this in a few different ways. Again, I'm going to click the plus button at the top of the screen, choose Import. And if I have a photo directly on my computer, I can just click Files and upload the photo. But I don't have one. So what I can do directly from Book Creator is search for a photo. Okay, I just did a search for an astronaut. Some of these options come up. I'm just going to take this photo, click Select. And there's my photo. Now what you might notice on here is this photo takes almost the entire cover. So rather than have this color in the background, what if I just took this and made this the background of my photo? Just gonna right click on my photo, choose Move to Back, make it a little bit bigger, kind of like that. And then just so this doesn't move around, I'm going to lock this in place, just like that. Okay, and I'm going to change my title again by right-clicking, Format. Let's make this a little bit lighter so we can actually see it, and maybe even make it a little bit bigger, kind of like that. So with my cover done, I'm now ready to add my first page. And I can add a page by just clicking this right arrow right to the side of your screen. So right now I'm ready to lay out my first page. Remember, I can always change the background by clicking the page, choosing I for information and changing my color, but what I think I'll do for this book is keep the pages white. So now I need to go back to my short story, and I need to start by copying and pasting some of the text on the page. There's no way to tell exactly how much text is going to fit, so this might take a little trial and error, but I'm just going to select maybe about the first 3 paragraphs, and I'm going to copy, go back to my page, I'm going to add a text box and paste, and I have this much text that is on my page. Again, I can change the font by clicking I for information and just changing the font to a different size, kind of like this one. So I think I'll stick with this font throughout the entire book. And I have my text on my page, but I do want to make room for an illustration. So I think this might be too much text for this particular page. So I'll need to go through and read through my text and find a spot where I can remove some of the text. And I feel like at the bottom here, this last paragraph, I can maybe take this out since it's a different thought. And I can add that to a different page. And now that I have just this much text on my page, I can maybe make the text a little bit bigger. And I can start to think about some illustrations that I can use on my page. This is the part in my story where it talks about a guitar, so I'm going to add a guitar by adding images the same exact way, searching for a guitar, and now kind of just moving that over like that. I think that might look good, and I'll just have to realign my text so it fits on the page. And I'm almost set, but I'd like to maybe fill some of the white space at the bottom here. And I can add other pictures, but I want to show you some other things that you can add. And you'll see this by going to the pen tool. Now on here, I can draw some things, so if I wanted to draw some music notes like that, I could do it, but as you can see, it really doesn't look so great. So instead of me using the pen tool to draw, I'm going to use this tool right up here, which will give me some emojis, and I can search for music. And I can find some notes like this that I think might look a little bit better. Same thing, let's look for music again. And let's pick these notes right over here. And I'm going to do the same thing one more time. Just do a search for music. There are some guitars and that kind of thing. I'll just use this one. Put this here. Once I'm done. And in a second, I should see my emojis at the bottom. I can make these bigger or smaller. It just kind of helps fill the space on the page. So I'm good here. Let's go to my next page by clicking the right arrow. And now I'm ready to add that text. If you remember, I cut some text from the last page. I'm just going to take that text and add it to this page. Now I'll want to make sure that my text is consistent with the other page. I believe that it was 24 and the font was Cabin. And now I can add a new photo to help illustrate this idea. This paragraph is about a metal detector. So again, I'm just going to click that plus button. I'm going to choose import. I'm going to look for a metal detector. And now I'm just going to do a search for a metal detector. I get a number of different images that are on here. I'm just going to choose maybe this one and maybe pick a different image as well. Because it talks about finding a coin on a beach, I'm going to take this one. So I have 2 images that are on my screen, and now I just have to really figure out how I want to place these so they fit on the page the way that I want them to. I'm just going to shrink down this photo a little bit. Take this one, and I just want this layout to look consistent, so I'm just going to take this one and make it just about the same height as that last photo. I can move this over, kind of like that. And now I'm ready for the next page. So now my next page, I'm just going to follow those same exact steps. I'm going to start by adding my text. Now you'll notice here it looks like I can fit maybe a little bit more text on the bottom. So I'm just going to go back to my Word document and I'm just going to copy a little bit more text. Double click and paste that on the bottom and then click Done. Resize this, kind of move this over here to the side. Now remember, we are going to come up with images or drawings or illustrations that will help communicate this idea. So this paragraph deals a little bit with a commercial for a magic set. So I could click the plus button and I can add an image if I want to. We talked a little bit about how to do that. But with this being an interactive book, I was able to go to YouTube and find a commercial about this magic set. And this could be the video that the story was referring to in terms of the commercial for the magic kit. So if I want to share this on my book, all I have to do is click the share button from YouTube, choose embed, and now I can copy that code, go back to Book Creator. Again, I'm just going to choose Import, but this time I'm going to choose the option that's Embed. Paste that code. Let's say Add to Book in there. So now I have a video to help support what I'm trying to say in my short story. In this case, this is the video that the character saw that made him want to choose to be a magician. So here is one last feature that I want to share with you, and I don't know if you'll actually do this for your book, but it's good to know that this is available. And if you've ever listened to the audiobook, you'll notice that either the author or a narrator goes through and reads the text, and sometimes that can be nice to listen to while you look at the words. Well, you can do this in Book Creator as well by clicking the plus button and choosing the option at the bottom that says Record. Once I push the Start Recording button, it should allow me to start recording. Given Jacob's history with hobbies, it was no surprise that Jacob's father was reluctant to buy him a magician's kit for his birthday. So once your book is finished, there's really nothing else that you have to do. Your teacher can publish the entire library, and then all of your classmates can read the books that have been created in this class. But at any time, if you want a preview to see what your book will look like when your classmates or when someone clicks on the link, you can do that by clicking the play button at the top right-hand side of your browser window. So here's my cover. And then I have my pages here. And if you remember, this is the video where people can watch the video after they read, and they can also play the audio that I recorded. Given Jacob's history with... So that's it. Hopefully this gives you a quick idea of how to get started with Book Creator.